So before coming to Mosaic, I kind of felt like I had figured things out, that I had a plan for my life and it was going perfectly, and yet I still felt like there was something fundamentally missing. My father was agnostic, and our house was very agnostic. So all these things they said that you must believe if you're a Christian, I didn't believe. I was pretty confident in my worldview up until the death of Jacob. Jacob was a little boy. At the age of about 1, my wife started to provide daycare for him. So he really became, part of our family. When he was almost 2 years old, his birth father had a change of heart, so much so that he took Jacob's mom to court to try to get joint custody. And the court basically told him that you have no standing. He handled this in probably the worst way anybody could. And so we got a phone call, and my wife went down to the basement to answer the phone. She was at the bottom of the stairs, I was at the top of the stairs, and I could see it in her face, something was terribly wrong. And she said, Jacob's father killed him. Well, that did it. I freaked out, and I didn't know what else to do. So I prayed. I don't believe in you, but I want to, and I'm going to try to. And I promised him that I would pray to him every day. Some people's story is, I was a believer, and then this terrible thing happened, and then I stopped being a believer. And for me, it was I guess it was the same thing, because I was a believer in myself. And when this terrible thing happened, I stopped believing in myself, and I had nothing. Once you stop believing in whatever your worldview is, you're just kind of left with emptiness. There's nothing like suddenly fills the void. I would watch my wife and my kids, and they seemed to be handling this so much better than I was. Looking back on it, I was like, man, I was really not there for them. But they had faith. But I watched them handle it so much better than I thought I was handling it. And so I went to church that week with them, which I never went to church with them, but I knew there would be people there who would comfort my kids and my wife, right? And so I wanted that too. From going to church weekly, I started to hear messages from Carl that were answering these doubts. I wanted to have facts to support my feelings. I didn't want to anesthetize my brain. I wanted to make sure that I had the information necessary to be able to defend my faith. And the more I understood, the easier it was for me to be convinced that there is a God, and that and Jesus did die for us. And those were things that were really hard to believe when I was younger. And God built me a church to answer my question. And that's when I checked the box and said, I think it's time for me to get baptized. And I think now that I've learned what I've learned, I think it would take more faith to be an atheist than it would be to be a Christian. Before I came to Mosaic, I really didn't have a community at all. And then when Jacob died, I needed someone to comfort me. Yes, I still experience the grief of Jacob's passing. I've been able to share with them some of the doubts that I've had, that I still have, and they do the same thing with me now. It's a relationship that you can't really get anywhere else.